queerly beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate the union of these two. Laura, do you promise to watch things, to play things, and to listen to things, and then talk about them on a Tuesday for broadcast on Sunday?
I do.
And Jane, do you promise to watch things, listen to things, and play things, and talk about them on a Tuesday evening for broadcast on a Sunday?
I do.
Then, with the power vested in me, I declare this podcast begun.
Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magna, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers, that podcast where two queer trans ladies have a bit of a natter about our weeks and chat about how we're doing and what we've done and that sort of thing.
That is us.
How you doing?
I'm alright.
Yeah.
I'm alright. A bit sleepy, but alright.
You've been doing all sorts of travelling, which is
I did many travels.
very tiring to do many travels.
Yeah. I've been jet set life is going to get me.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle we live into.
I went to Huddersfield.
You went to Huddersfield. That's a distance. You travelled.
There's you like, yeah, I'm jetting off to Germany, I go over here, I went to New Zealand for a bit and did this thing and did that thing, and there's me like, I went to Huddersfield.
It was very flat.
It was actually the East Midlands that were very flat.
The East Midlands are apparently like disconcertingly flat.
Hey, wow! When you're from this sort of area where it's quite lumpy and there's hills everywhere, the fact that you could just look from like horizon to horizon and go, yeah, I could probably walk that without breaking a sweat.
Yeah, it's a thing, isn't it?
Who ironed the country? What do?
Oh goodness! So you went and saw some of the country that had been ironed and flattened out.
Apparently so.
Luckily,
Huddersfield was a bit more lumpy.
Can't think what else we've done this week.
Well, we've watched things and played things and listened to things.
Should we start with what we played this week?
We shall.
What you played this week?
What I played this week? Oh, you wait until I'm not looking at the thing.
Well, I can tell you about what I've played, but it's not a lot new. I continued to play a bunch of Pokemon Let's Go because I'm still on that big old shiny hunt. I got a shiny Staryu. That was quite cool. Ooh. I've got all of the Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath trio in shinies now.
Polyamorous?
I have my Poly trio.
Yay!
Someone traded me a shiny Dugong this evening. I'm up to, I think, 123 different species of shiny in Let's Go, so I'm quite proud of that.
Does that include the Alolands, or?
That includes the Alolands. I think I'm like 72% of the way through if we count having to get all the Alolands. But, like, I'm making solid progress, so I'm getting there.
It's very impressive.
I think I've only got, like, 2, 3, 4 of the Alolan, so I'm still up to like probably over 120 of the original 150. Like the original 150, I would hazard to guess I'm about 80% of the way through. I'm making good progress. What about you? What have you been playing?
I played that Genital Jousting single player.
Oh, how'd you get on with it?
It's all right. It's like an hour or so of content.
It's more than I expected out of the story mode in a party game about sticking dicks in butts.
I was kind of trying to work out, sort of, from having seen people play Genital Jousting before, how the single player worked, and was like, I guess there's going to be like some plot, and then you'll play some Genital Jousting, but no, it's just sort of,
you play
sort of a walking simulator.
It's
if you happen to be propelled by bollocks.
Yeah, it's sort of be a wiggly dick running through situations as story happens, knocking things over, and like I'm trying to think of examples of mechanically things you do in the story mode. I know at one point you have a job at the dildo factory,
and you have to test a bunch of butt plugs.
Yeah, you test the very big vibrating butt plug
to the point that it destroys the entire room or something.
Yeah, but generally it's a story about a guy who is literally and metaphorically a dick.
Yeah.
And learning that, just because he's a dick doesn't mean he has to be hard.
And dealing with toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
The things he thinks he needs to be.
Yeah, it's a lot of, him dealing with, like, but I was nice to the woman, why didn't sex occur?
Why did that peen not like me?
Yeah, good on this game for having, female penises. Good on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I like that story mode. I thought it was quite a, like, they didn't have to take the risks they took with that, and I think it was quite a brave thing they did.
I like there's lots of different clothing options, and you're never judged for that in any way.
Indeed.
You can wear quite a fancy dress at one point, I quite liked.
You just travel the world playing a dick.
And then at one point just trying to find every single steroid needle you can and injecting it into yourself.
Yeah, because if you're a dick like that, you gotta be strong and have all the traveling experiences. And why do they still not like me?
Yeah, the whole Instagram traveling around the world and
yeah, it's a lot of just like, well, this'll make women have to love me if I do this, and it's like, no. You're still a dick.
You're still a dick, and not in the good way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it was an interesting couple of hours or so.
Yeah, like, I think it's well worth... Like, it's a nice, short little experience that I think is well worth checking out.
I mean, I think I paid, like, $1.59 flat for Genital Jousting, and the fact that I got the single player was, nothing special. Although I tried to play multiplayer online, and there's not a lot of going on with that game.
No.
There's not many people playing that anymore.
No. You could probably play some local multiplayer, that might be...
I feel like more than 2 is probably required to really make that work, though.
Well, we've got, like, more than 2 controllers we could plug into the laptop, and we've got friends who occasionally exist within our lives.
It's true, perhaps we can invite them around to
I'm sure we can invite friends around and go, would you like to stick a dick in a butt?
I like to stick a dick in a hole.
It's a dick in a butt.
We're on our way there. Butts in their millions, all under one roof. It's called Genital Jousting. There's millions, said Jeffrey, all up one ass. It's called Genital Jousting, Genital Jousting, Genital Jousting. TM, do an old copy.
Many TMs.
So, what have you played?
Well, I can't talk review thoughts yet, but I can talk preview thoughts for, Yoshi's Crafted World.
Ooh.
That game I got to go and play like a little bit of at Nintendo a while back, and we played a demo for.
Ooh.
I have played more of it in the safety of my own playing space, and that game continues to be very fun. I don't have anything hugely new to say about it at this stage. It continues to be... In single player, it definitely works better than in co-op, in my experience. It's a bit less cluttered. That's not to say co-op's not fun, but it's a little much on the screen at once. But it's an adorably gorgeous-looking game, and it's the kind of thing that if you just want something a bit positive to make you smile and to have a nice, pleasant gaming experience, that's how I'm finding it so far. I've not played a huge amount, but I've played more than I had, and I still feel positively about it.
And is the world design sort of good throughout? What you've seen?
The levels I have seen so far have all been very interesting designs that have made me want to keep playing to see more designs.
And it's still the sort of beautiful cutout handmade.
It's all like, this is a very beautifully made little diorama still, yeah.
Aww. And enjoying the sort of replay of going back through the Gucci's.
So far, yes. I still feel like I don't know how long this is going to be a thing I want to do after every level. We'll see. I've enjoyed doing that a few more times. We'll see if that holds up.
Okay.
What about you? What else have you played this week?
I have played one other thing, because of all the talk about Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
And the realisation that we now have a laptop that can actually play games.
Yeah, yes we do.
I played that DmC Devil May Cry that I got some time ago.
The one that is not the original game, it's the one where it's a little edgier and a little more emo.
Yes, and apparently I can get an S rank somehow. Although I'm playing on the easiest difficulty setting because As I proved with Bayonetta, I'm not good at spectacle fighters.
Well, that's the thing. Even if it's an easy mode, you're still getting your S ranks, which means that you are varying up what you're doing a little bit.
I am.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the controller vibrates when you do a pause correctly.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that sort of feedback, because very often in games like, have I paused long enough?
Yeah.
Have I done the pause? And those are the games where I just can't do that.
Devil May Cry is very good at giving you the feedback to do the cool shit.
Yeah, and
As a
surely
series.
all of the games want you to do the cool shit, right?
Yeah, and they're very good at like encouraging this is the timing to do the cool shit. Yeah, I forgot how edgy DmC Devil May Cry tries to be with its very, very angry metal in the background of everything.
And... I like the metal. I've not listened to metal in a while.
Yeah,
well, not that kind of metal anyway.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying it's bad, but compared to the rest of the series, I forgot quite how much it wants to be, hey, angsty teenagers who were angry at the world, here you go. And, like, I love Shadow the Hedgehog. Occasionally I like a bit of deliberately angsty game.
Yeah, and
I'd just forgotten it.
Yeah. And I mean, I played, I think, Devil May Cry 3 on PS2, and I just wasn't very good at it, and was not having fun as a result of that. I like the enemy design, but because I found it so inaccessible, and I know there's people who are just like, yeah, get good scrub or whatever, but, like, surely they want to sell more copies of a game. And if you want to be the, like, hardcore awesome person that can do it at, you know, hardcore difficulty, nightmare difficulty, and go through and get every single thing, and at constant triple S rank or whatever, good for you.
But, like, it
doesn't
should be
hurt that other people can play it too.
It should be fun for the people who are getting to that point, as well as the people who are already there.
Well, also, like, people like me who will never get to that point because of the coordination issues.
Well, that's it. It's like, it should be fun for people who are like, I'm not there, but I would like to be better. I'd like to keep playing.
Yeah, I want to see more of this story.
Yeah.
And, you know, I did find myself coming up with some really random shit while playing that game. Come back here! Other side of the room.
Were you enjoying the number of weapons they threw at you?
That second level, I was like, oh god, another weapon! I've got to learn another weapon. Oh, for fuck's sake! Yeah, it's all right. I wasn't too pained by all of that. I quite like the scythe over the big stompy axe. But they both have their uses, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I would probably play more of that.
Nice.
I've only died a couple of times, so it's alright.
Well done, you.
And I like that it doesn't punish you for falling off shit.
Yes.
Especially when, like, sometimes it just does drop the floor out in front of you.
A little bit, yeah.
At an angle where you can't necessarily tell there's no floor there.
Yes, I do remember watching that one instance where you just sort of ran looking like you were going to go upstairs and oops, fell.
Oh, there's no floor there, is there? Oh, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, it's all right. I hope to see more of it, maybe, and see how that goes. What about you?
I've got two other things to throw in very quickly. I found an unofficial website for just playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For free on the internet, where you can just like pick from any card that has ever existed and make a deck and just go, here we go, can someone play Yu-Gi-Oh! With me? Which I have used a little bit because I'm trying to slowly just about learn the rules of some of the other types of summoning. Not because I have any interest in buying any, but I own some cards that, like, I don't know how they work and I don't know how this game works anymore, and I would like to be able to know it enough to go like, okay, I could play a modern round of Yu-Gi-Oh! And know what was happening. Even if I used an old school deck, I could play against someone else and go, I can recognise whether you're following the rules or not, I don't just have to take your word for it. So, done a little bit trying to teach myself how, I've already forgotten the names of them.
Summons?
No, Synchro Summons are the one I know up to.
Oh.
There is, I think, XYZ Summons and Totem Summons. There's a type of summon where, like, the cards have arrows in some of the corners of them, and then you can summon other cards like that in the zones that the arrows are pointing to, I think. I've been trying to learn that one, and I forget what it's called, but we're learning some Yu-Gi-Oh! And the other one, which I'll get into in more depth in the the music section, is Beat Saber, and Jane is miming Beat Saber at me. Yeah.
Take that, blocks.
So, some new DLC came out for Beat Saber, which gave me an excuse to stick my VR headset back on and play some more of it. The gameplay, completely unchanged. It is still quickly slice the things in the directions to the music. That is still very fun. Had to just take off all clothing, torso upwards, because I was just like, this is too hot. This is too hot.
I can only imagine it got hotter once you started taking
clothes
off.
Hello. But yeah, there is like 10 or so new tracks, I think, that have been added as DLC. And I'm mainly going to talk about them in the music section, because I have been listening to like 4 of them on repeat this week, because I really like them.
Oh.
There is some very good new music in there, so that's
New
a good
music?
Well, sort of half so at the heat I was playing.
Oh.
Anyway, should we go to the next bit?
Yeah, let's go there then.
Time for this.
Ooh.
Next up on Queer and Pleasant Strangers, your horoscope with Mandy Wise.
Oh, hi, it's me, Mandy, So I'm going to do the horoscopes. Are you ready? So Aries, look up today. Somebody's glued your shoes to the ceiling. Taurus, today you will almost fall for a phishing scam. Remember, cereal doesn't need access to your PIN number. Gemini, your friends are worried about how much you spend on microtransactions. Maybe talk to someone. It's becoming kind of an issue, Cancer, today is the best day for you to become more politically active in the face of rising fascism. You could do so much good in your community. Leo, rawr. No one is going to kink shame you, but you should avoid leaving your kids at work on account of the fact that they did not consent to that, Virgo, you look so good today. Have you done something new with your hair? You look so snazzy. Libra, your Etsy shop will see a sudden uptake in sales today. It is the start of a new trend. Go you! You did it! Scorpio, I know what you did, but it's okay. I won't tell. Sagittarius, it doesn't matter what I say. You're too skeptical to believe in me. For this the elder abominations shall never forgive you. Your mind is forfeit. Capricorn, look at you, so lucky. I hope you appreciate it. It could end any time. Probably not today though, Aquarius, don't forget to take your washing out of the machine today. You don't have to wash it again because it's gonna stinky. Pisces, you have an eyelash on you. No, left a bit. No, too far. No, you missed it. Maybe get someone to help or look in the mirror. Anyway, that is all the horoscopes for today. I hope you have a wonderful time. Except for Sagittarius. You have angered the elder gods.
Right. Keep it up. Keep going. You gotta keep that steady pace. We can't see you slow down at all. Don't speed up. You're gonna overexert yourself. Don't you dare slow down. We need you to keep going. I don't care if you're running low on energy. You need to keep going at this good pace. How are you feeling?
Struggling to keep pace.
Well, maybe if you're struggling, we'll get you a new battery. How do you feel about that?
Running out.
Okay.
I feel like I might start running slower.
Okay. Don't worry. We're taking you off the wall. Okay. We've taken your empty battery out. Are you ready for this new battery? You ready? In it goes. Go. Keep up that standard pace. 1 tick per second. No one likes a clock that runs out of speed. So, what have you been watching or listening to? Which one should we do next?
We do looking at next.
Looking at. What have you been looking at?
What have I been looking at? Well,
Yeah.
I started watching that one day at a time.
Oh yeah, we're what, like five episodes in?
Because you've started watching it again with me.
Yeah, I started
Is that
rewatching
good?
it with you. I also rewatched the end of season 3 with a friend at the weekend because it's like, I like this show enough that I will totally rewatch it. And not gonna lie, I watched 2-3 episodes with my friend at the weekend, and I cried at all 3 of them. I was like, oh, this show's still getting me.
It's a very emotional series. I've cried a couple of times already.
Yeah, because it starts off as very much it's a laugh track sitcom, but
I was crying in the first episode.
Yeah, it does the serious stuff good, doesn't it?
Do a good job.
Yeah, because what sort of stuff have we come across in those first few episodes? We've had...
Immigration.
Immigration was tonight.
Immigration splitting up families, more importantly.
Yeah, specifically, like, the effect... because there were discussions about, like, legal versus illegal immigration and the sort of moral questions there and the effect it has on people, particularly families with children. The kind of very human things that would drive someone to the situation where they might get caught in an immigration problem. We've had, what have we had? Issues to do with, like, depression and fearing taking antidepressants in case people judge you for it.
And being judged for taking antidepressants.
Being judged for it and having to sort of talk about that. We had... I'm trying to think, have we had the makeup one yet? No.
We had the mum talking about putting makeup on the daughter.
Yes, and the grandmother came in at the end without the makeup and was like, oh, I get it. If this is how you feel, like, I'm going to stop pressuring you. And there was whole conversations about, like, consent going on there.
Yeah.
It's a really sweet little show, isn't it?
It's got some really shitty characters in it, though.
Here's the thing.
I realise that they're there to sort of be a point for conversation.
Yes, they're there to be points of conversation, and B, by the end of season 3, they all do have arcs. All of them do have, at some point, something, like, the show will focus on them for a bit, and something will go bad for them, and we will have a moment of, like, them actually sort of learning and becoming better as a result of them not just being the shitty person who exists outside of the suffering.
I also thought there were some quite mean jokes about Dr. Berkowitz.
There were.
I realise he's supposed to be like, hey, he's this sort of sad, lonely guy, but it's like, that's sad.
Again, like, here's the thing, like, I think most of the slightly mean jokes they're usually aimed at white men in the show. In a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And, like, I think Dr. Berkowitz is the one of, like, the 3 white male characters who, like, I feel most bad when jokes happen at his expense. Yeah. But, like, I promise you he does get growth and he actually gets a really sweet little story going. Like, there are several characters where they do start off a little bit punchliney, and I feel like seasons 2 and 3 definitely learn from that and flesh those people out into more sympathetic characters that are made the butt of the joke less often, but that's good. Yeah, no, I'm really glad you've been enjoying it so far, because that show is like... I binged 3 seasons and then went, oh, I want more.
And now there is no more.
Oh, there are some episodes that when we get to, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see why they're crying at this one. There will be a few that hit close to home for me.
Oh.
But he's okay, he's good feelings.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what have you watched?
Oh, what have I watched? I haven't got my watch section. Here we go. I watched the 2-episode pilot for the new Netflix animated Carmen Sandiego show.
Oh, I didn't realise that wasn't a full series yet.
Oh no, there is
advertised.
No, there is a full series, but like I watched the 2 episodes that were like, here is the introduction and the backstory and the character setup. So, it's a very different take on Carmen Sandiego. I will give it that. I will give you like a very brief summary of like this is literally the character backstory intro episode pair. She is a child who is found on an island with very little to explain who she is or why she's washed up there. All she's washed up with is this set of Russian nesting dolls. And the island she's washed up on is the headquarters for an organization of thieves who are basically trained up to be like, hey, go steal valuable artifacts from around the world. She grows up there. She becomes a very good thief, and she's not really aware of the fact that, like, you know, training up to be a master thief is not a good thing to do, because that's just, like...
nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, that's the life she's grown up in. She ends up getting a little bit of contact with the outside world, and basically realizing, oh, these people are bad and they're hurting people. So she steals a bunch of data about crimes that this group is going to commit and gets out into the world and basically does heists, but deliberately does them so that it will lead to this group of criminals being found for their crimes. She's basically doing crimes to get the criminals caught and eventually returning all the things she steals in order to basically, like, she's trying to fight crime through stealing stolen artifacts.
Okay.
It's a little difficult to describe, but it's like she'll steal things that are already stolen property so that the police find, oh, didn't realise there's a bunch of stolen property here, that's a good thing.
Double steal.
Yeah, while she do travel the world with her hacker in the chair that is played by Finn Wolfhard, who's one of the kids from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice enough little show. It seems like it's definitely aimed at a younger audience. It doesn't... It's a shame when compared to some other very good recent Netflix originals children's programming, stuff like The Dragon Prince, that gives its audience some credit and lets them have room to make connections by themselves.
Right.
This very much, like, tells you absolutely everything and points out everything, and everything is very, like, morally good, bad, there's no grey area, we're going to lay everything out for you.
Okay.
Which, for an adult audience, can be a little...
Doesn't all have to be for us.
No, and that's the thing, is I'm not saying it has to be for us or that this is a failing of the show. It is a case of... I gave it a try, and as an adult, I was like, okay, this is no The Dragon Prince. This is not, like, trying to hit this audience. And I'm like, I will probably watch one or two more. I will see if, once it escapes its sort of pilot, telling the character backstory thing, if it improves. But, like, it's no Voltron, She-Ra, The Dragon Prince. Like, it's not that very good run of children's animated shows that Netflix has been doing recently that have been of a very consistent quality. It's not that. But it is a well-made, well-acted, enjoyable enough, and it's interesting to see a different take on that character.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I looked at doing all that travel. I did some reading. So I read through Tank Girls, 2 Girls, 1 Tank.
Ooh, tell me about this.
It's about Subgirl coming back. Subgirl, not that kind of sub.
What, is she a submarine?
She drives a submarine, just like Jet Girl drives a jet and Tank Girl drives a tank.
No other kind of Subgirl.
No. So basically I read Tank Girl Gold. Like, it's just one I randomly picked up with a new artist.
Yeah.
Was it probably, like, late last year, I think?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really know what's going on, and there's clearly some, like, through lines here, so I'll read them. So yeah, basically this is the story before that.
This is the story you skipped over and probably needed to know things from.
Not really. I mean, it was an enjoyable enough sort of read in your own. You do just sort of sit there. I mean, Tank Girl starts with all sorts of weird premises. So starting an issue with, hey, they've got all this Nazi gold they've stolen from somewhere.
You're like, oh, okay, let's take that as a given.
Yeah. It's Tank Girl. It's like Gwar in comic book form. But with a strong female lead.
That is a perfect way to describe that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there is literally a scene where somebody is so badly shot to death that they're basically just chunks and blood on the floor. And Barney turns around and goes, I think they must have escaped. I mean, literally, the guy gets shot to pieces, so he's just staggering with like 8 or 9 bullet holes in him. Then he's basically just a slightly gooey skeleton. And then he's just like a bit of jaw on the floor in a big pile of blood.
Wow.
And Barney's Barney, so she doesn't really get what's happened. She's firing like a belt-bred machine gun at this guy.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So, like I say, it's like Guar is a comic book with more girls in it. Yeah. What have you put in your eyes?
I've watched some more Crazy Ex-Girlfriend because that show is back from its mid-season hiatus. I very much enjoy the direction that they're taking the character, and I kind of hope that they're bringing her towards a conclusion where this show can wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the sort of plot point they're exploring right now feels like it would be a very satisfying way to wrap up the character and give her a happy ending that isn't just, oh, she finally found the boy that fixed her, like that sort of thing. So it was they had a very sweet episode this week. She explored theatre, and basically she discovered she has a passion for taking old problematic media and rewriting it in ways that make it more palatable to modern audiences. I'm like,
cool.
I'd be really happy if that's where she ends up. Like, she basically ends up being a writer on the show she's on, is essentially where she ends. I'm like, that'd be a nice ending. Go do that. What about you? What else are you putting in your eyes?
I started reading The Adventure Zone, Here Be Goblins.
Ooh, how are you getting on with it?
Yeah, it's interesting. And it was a bit jarring that they started changing some of the names a bit. I guess there's reasons, because I think some of that came out of the D&D Starter set.
So this is less of a problem for later comics, I would imagine, because like that first arc was basically an existing D&D campaign that they used without changing any of the names, not realising that it was going to become this huge thing.
Yeah, I'm like, because obviously I was like, well, maybe they won't change the names of like, obviously they'll change maybe names of species and things, because I think some of those are trademarked. But I was a bit concerned about like when we got to Clog the Bugbear. Like, oh no, he's not called Clog the Bugbear anymore.
Yes.
And I'll come on to it in a minute, but I've also sort of started listening to Balance at the same time.
Yes.
Again. So, yeah, it was a bit weird to go, that's not that thing.
That is
some of the narrative changes weren't really great. One thing I really wasn't expecting that was interesting was getting Griffin in as the DM.
Yes.
So they're sort of media aware, I guess, like Deadpool.
Yeah.
And
I think that works for a thing like that, where a quarter of the people and a quarter of the experience of the original form was the DM. Like, you would lose a lot of that experience if you cut Griffin out entirely. I
love that he just sort of appears in the corner and sort of pops out as himself, just like, hi everybody, I'm the DM.
Yeah.
Gets his own little character stat block at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this thing that happens might not necessarily be in character, but we rolled a dice. That happened.
It is kind of weird that they keep making jokes about rolling the dice.
Yeah. I understand why the changes they made were made. I think it's really nice to be able to see a visual retelling of some of those very striking events that happened.
Yeah.
I still get slightly, like, my brain gets a bit confused by Blue Taco still.
I like Blue Taco.
I look at him, I'm like, I didn't picture you, Blue.
It's Taco, my dudes.
Yeah, I know, like, it's still Taco, but like, it's not, when I picture Taco, I don't picture Blue Taco.
I can't picture anyone, so Blue Taco works fine.
Again, when I say picture, I don't mean actually visualise in my head.
Conceptualise.
I am using a shorthand for...
The hands. Just normal length.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean when I say
to conceptualise that.
Yes.
Idea.
When I conceptualise Taco, I'm not thinking about them being blue.
I didn't even try to conceptualise them. I just knew they had a big hat.
Yes. Well, it made... The fact that I've cosplayed as Loop before may explain why I've tried to conceptualise them, because I've had to be like, how would I put that character together in a way that I would see someone dressed as them and go, yes, I recognise what you're trying to do. And at no point did I think I should paint myself blue.
No, I guess not. But I'm looking forward to seeing how far they go through it. I think I'm up to like chapter 3 or... Yeah, about chapter 3 at the moment. So yeah, I'm excited to see how the rest of that goes. There is a lot of comic book left.
Yes, there is. It's a good one.
What about you? Stuck anything else in your eyes?
The only other thing I can think of that stuck in my eyes was I watched another episode of that show I started the pilot on last week, Jane the Virgin, and it's not grabbing me.
No.
I gave it a second episode and I'm like, here's the problem. It's a different premise, but I feel like I'm going to have exactly the same narrative beats as I would watching, say, Ugly Betty is the thing that comes to mind. Like, it's another of those, it's kind of a drama, kind of a comedy, 45-minute episodes. It just, the way it's shot and the way the lines are delivered and the way that the arc is going just feels like, oh, it's that show. And it's not a problem, but I feel like I've seen that show before, and I feel like I'm probably going to be able to guess, like, 90% of the plot beats because, it's following that template. So, that's where I'm at with that. If you enjoy it, I'm sure you do, but I've watched a couple too many of those shows, and I can see what's coming. Or at least I feel like I can. You put anything else in your eyes?
Sort of. Something you sent me this morning, that Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time online multiplayer
yes,
demo thing?
Yeah, there's a mod where you can just play Ocarina of Time in 2-player.
Up to 15
or
player?
Up to 15 player. Yeah, and you just run through the world together and you can both beat stuff up.
Well, it feels like, watching the video, it felt like the beginning of the game that's going to be really freaking dull.
Yeah.
But, like, as you progress, the concept that you can just exponentially speed up the end of the game.
Yeah.
Because you can suddenly go, like, okay, I'm gonna go here, you go to the next area.
Yeah.
And as soon as I picked up this thing, you'll have the thing, and then you can go ahead. And then as soon as you've got to, the key item from that level, I guess I can go on to the next dungeon.
It saves you some time doing the backtracking, or if you're stuck on a particular fight, you can both do it together, and
I guess, if there's heart containers you can get at a certain point while somebody else is doing the main story mission.
Yeah, I would definitely, at some point in the future, we're probably not going to replay Ocarina of Time too soon, because we did it fairly recently, but, in a couple of years, when we next have a itch to play Ocarina of Time...
Yeah, if that's not been assisted
well, here's the thing. If it stays up long enough to, be available and to get a copy of it and to have it working, before the cease and desist happens, I'd be totally up for playing through the game at least once that way.
Yeah.
Seems like a fun plan.
Yeah, definitely. I would be up for that.
You'd be up for that?
Oh.
Well, anything else in your eyes?
That's all of the things in my eyes.
Well, time for this.
Woo.
Jane, we've got a new sponsor.
Who's the sponsor?
The sponsor this week, you know them very well. It's Badly Designated Heroes.
What?
Badly Designated Heroes.
Oh,
it's that podcast you're on.
I'm on that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was sponsoring me.
Well, it's a surprise, but, we're sponsored by Badly Designated Heroes this week.
That's jolly nice of
Yeah,
them.
why don't you tell us about Badly Designated Heroes?
It's a 5th edition D&D Real Play podcast where Nick Wynn tells us what to do, usually involving rats. And Becky Toohill is a tiefling wizard who is posh and grumpy. And James, no last name given, is a grumpy monk called Latonk, who is a halfling. So it's a play on little monk, you see, Latonk. And I am Trees the Furbolg Druid. And I've got a dog, alright. And we go around and I wheatle my own dildos, among other things. And I happen to, do all sorts of things there, I guess.
See, the reason I think it's nice that we're being sponsored this week by Badly Designated Heroes is we always do our being all promotey at the end of the episode, and I'm sure there's probably people that stop before the end of the episode, so I thought...
Really?
Yeah.
But how do they get to all those bits that I sometimes put in after the end of the music?
That's what I was also hoping you would bring up. Listen to the end. There's usually funny things after the outro music, but... I know that there are people who've stopped listening to podcasts when the outros start happening, so I was like, hey, I should reach out to Badly Designated Heroes, see if they will be a sponsor this week.
Ah, I see.
And definitely the sponsor is not just me sponsoring Badly Designated Heroes within quotes.
My brain did the thing. My brain did the thing. So that's Badly Designated Heroes. Go to Curious Epidemic on Twitch. Hit the the quill button, the pen button, and enter the code #Q and PS59.
Or you could just, go to your web browser bar and type in, how do we find Badly Designated Heroes?
We're there. We're there on the internet. We're on Spotify as Badly Designated Heroes. YouTube on Curiosity Epidemic channel, and SoundCloud as Curiosity Epidemic. You can check out Badly Designated Heroes in those 3 places. And we're trying to get on iTunes, Apple Music, whatever it's called now, at the moment. But they refused the first time, and hopefully they will let us now that we've been on a while.
Wonderful. Thank you. So that's Badly Designated Heroes that Jane definitely knew was going to be a sponsor this week.
I had no fucking clue. You got me. Is this what you were plotting earlier? Inside the boardroom of Electronic Active Softworks.
Hi there. How's all your evil business been going?
Well, it goes. It's I don't feel like it's been nearly evil enough recently, but I guess we can work on it. We got guys.
Well, I've got some new good, nice and evil business that we can table for motions in the coming days.
Sure, yeah.
So here's my new plan. So
yeah.
We got that shooter that's coming out soon. That big shooter where America's downfall has happened, and we have a bunch of content in there about civil wars and whether having guns when the government falls will keep you alive or not. A lot of contentious topics.
Yeah.
And we put it in there because we were like, it's all very dramatic imagery. It's very easy to sell, sell games when everything's a bit dramatic. But some people have been asking questions about our political leanings.
I mean, that seems like a bad thing, right?
Yeah, no, because the problem is...
We need to play both sides of that.
Yeah, so, we put that stuff in because, it sells. It's drama. But, we don't want to actually have to take a stance on it, so...
No, because we need both sides to sort of think that we're on their side.
Yeah. That we're just simply asking questions. We don't have opinions.
Yeah,
so,
it's the what is it? The marketplace of ideas.
Yeah, so here's my idea. We just outright deny it has any politics.
I mean, that seems perfectly reasonable, yeah.
I know that the game is about a civil war, and 2 minutes in we're talking about how, only the people who had guns survived the Civil War, and, suggesting that that's, maybe a way to keep you and your family alive. But just, if someone asks, just, what? What do you want about it?
That's
not politics.
No. I mean, absolute deniability. At every turn.
You just... answer the... Let's roleplay this. Let's just try a scenario. You be the games journalist. You ask me some questions about this game.
So this game, you said guns are good, right?
No. That's quite a leap in assumption you made. We simply posed the scenario that, in a scenario, having guns completely saves your life and is a requirement, and if you didn't have guns, you're dead. We pose that as a scenario, but we don't say that it was good that the people had guns that kept them alive and stopped them being murdered. We don't say that's good.
Right.
We don't say that's good.
Yeah, I mean, that'd have worked for me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think if we just play that card right, we don't have to face politics.
Sure. So what about the game we did where it's all about destabilizing an island nation's government?
That's not politics. That's just shooting the bad guys.
Yeah, so it's just, just a perfectly normal shooting stuff, blowing things up, military installations and stuff. It's, There's nothing broader in that.
No, you are simply shooting the people who are bad, who are in the roles that they are in the place that they are. But, like, they're just people who are bad.
Yeah, and we won't comment on the whole exploitable resources thing as well.
What even is that? Ha!
I mean, this is good work. Yeah, I really like this idea. I would say that you are a fucking genius.
I know.
So.
That was sort of a shock and sort of a yawn.
So, what have you listened to?
Well, I sort of alluded to this earlier, but I've been listening to a bunch of new music from Beat Saber.
New to music?
Yeah, there's in particular 3 tracks I want to mention this week. How many things have you listened to that you want to talk about?
I've listened to sort of 3 things.
Okay, so we've got a good number to back and forth them. I'll jump in first then. So, first track I really enjoyed from the Beat Saber DLC was a track called Emoji VIP, which the name sounded cringy and I was not sold on the fact I would like that. If I saw that in a list of songs, I would not think it would be a thing I would enjoy. It's by a band called Pegboard Nerds. The actual track's really nice. It's got this mix of very floaty vocals, super fast drum beat, lots of wobs thrown in, but they're very sort of like quick, used to build a melody, like a melody built out of wobs. Lots of high and mid-range pitches used interchangeably. Really fun sort of bouncy feeling as it goes between these sort of high-pitched notes and mid-range notes. The whole track just has this really fun feeling to sort of just like bounce to.
Is it glitchy or?
A little bit glitchy, a little bit wobs.
I'm trying to remember what genre Pegboard Nerds are because I've listened to some of their stuff.
Yeah, there's a little bit of glitch to them. Yeah, it's just this interesting mix of like super fast drum beats, wobs, and like interchanging between high and mid-range pitches.
Yeah, it's like really glitchy electro, I seem to remember.
Yeah, I feel like you would enjoy it.
Oh,
I
probably.
think. I will play you this track at some point, but I listened to this track and was like, I think David liked this one.
It's the first time in a while, like, you've put stuff on there and I've gone, I know that artist, I know that artist. I don't know either of these tracks.
Yeah, no, I didn't know any of these artists before, but apparently some artists you know made it into Beat Saber.
Oh, you've definitely heard something by the next artist on that list. Do you want to do the next one?
Well, we've got about 3 each. So
I was going to say, because mine are all audio dramas and yours is all music.
Shall I get all my music?
Do all the music first?
Okay, so the next one was We Won't Be Alone by Faint, featuring Laura Brem. Apparently I've definitely heard something.
Yeah, you've probably almost certainly heard My Sunset, because they play it at that event we go to quite a lot.
Which one? The one with the live people, or the one with the not live people?
The one with the not live people.
Yes, okay. Well, in that case, you'll have to play me that track at some point, and I'll see if I recognise it.
Yes, it's a track called My Sunset, and it's quite beautiful. Sort of drum and bass goodness.
Yeah. So this one was like a sort of femme vocal that the whole track starts very floaty and ethereal. Lyrically, there's a lot of singing about like not wanting to let go of someone who's leaving your life and sort of holding on to someone who's already clearly gone. It was, kind of sad almost little lyrics. It was a beautiful little bit of lyricism. And then it kicks in with this really satisfying, like, pumping bass drum beat to the bottom of it. Like, it wouldn't surprise me that this band does a lot of drum and bass, because, like, there is definitely a good sort of stomp on the bass drum.
Nice.
Underpinning it. Comes in with a really fast, high pitch melody. Again, it's a track that's very sort of just like go, 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 sort of real pace to it. And every now and then the track will just like sort of quiet down and go back to this sort of ethereal with vocals thing. It has these really nice, satisfying, I've described them as catch your breath lulls, where it's like, this is the bit of the track where everyone would just be like, and breathe and have a drink of water and time to be dancing again. Like, it's one of those kind of tracks.
Oh, I know those moments.
It's fast enough of a track that they need to give you a second to like catch your breath, have a drink, you ready? Go. And the last one was really interesting. It's called Overkill, and it was by a band called Riot. And the base of the track is very, like, speed metal, with sort of very robotic femme vocal clips laid over it. And then it kicks into almost, like, the best way I could describe it was, like, metal dubstep.
Noise?
It's like speed metal dubstep with, like, occasional interspersals of, like, metal and rap vocals thrown into it.
Sold.
Yeah, like, this is a dance track for people who, like, predominantly like metal and would like a little bit of dance sprinkled in, as opposed to predominantly like dance and want a bit of metal sprinkled in. This is a metal track that occasionally wubs. But I really enjoyed it. So that was my 3 very fast tracks that I really enjoyed this week.
Excelente.
Yeah, I need to send you some of these because I think you would really like them.
I'm hype. I'll give that a listen. So me, for my listening, I finished Dalek Empire 1, which was like a 4-part audio drama, which I mentioned last week. So season 2 sort of takes place almost immediately after that. I won't explain the whys and hows, because that would be a bit of a spoiler, but basically there are now 2 Dalek factions.
Okay.
There's Daleks from an alternate universe who basically view our universe, or series universe, Daleks as like the most evil thing anything could possibly be, guilty of just the most horrible crimes by bringing war and genocide and all sorts of things. They are led by the Mentor, who is like a sort of more angelic-looking version of Davros. She's plumbed into the chair, and she sort of glows with a great white light, and her like implants look more like glowing jewels rather than.
Yeah. Right now, I'm hearing nothing wrong with these Daleks. These Daleks seem all right. Right now, they do.
I mean, they help. They form an alliance with like the non-Dalek races of our universe or that universe.
Yeah.
And they basically start a war trying to stop them. But the humans are getting upset about the fact that they're hearing rumours of these things they call the punished planets.
Mm-hmm.
So planets that were locked in their own wars or whatever, or were refusing to join the cause to fight against the Daleks. And they were basically being, like, bombed back to the Dark Ages.
Well,
so they weren't really being killed, but they were being destroyed in such a way as they were so technologically set back that they couldn't even get into space.
Yeah.
Because the alternate universe Daleks felt that basically if you're not willing to work together in peace and harmony, then you shouldn't be allowed, full stop. And that's how in their universe they have conquered everything through technically peaceful means.
Well,
I won't spoil why, but they do eventually go home.
I have a feeling a certain person in a blue box maybe has something to do with it.
No, as I said last week, Doctor Who is not involved in any of these stories.
Ah, okay, well, in that case, I look forward to finding out how they get, why they go home.
If you'd like, I can tell you, or I can just let you listen to it.
I might at some point listen to some of these. They sound very interesting.
And then I started listening to, so that was Dalek War, and then which was season 2, and now I've started listening to season 3, which is so like it's about 2,000 years after the end of Dalek War, and now a lot of the universe's technology is ground to a halt. People are using solar sails rather than travelling through at sort of hyper light speeds as they were previously. The Daleks have barely been heard of in the galaxy, full stop. There's been this plague that damages people neurologically, and is bad in that respect. And the Daleks are apparently coming to help heal that in the most chaotic way possible. Won't explain why I suspect they're trying to do that, but it's interesting because I don't know the names of all of the actors, but like there's a couple of voices in there I definitely recognise. I did spot David Tennant quite early on.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character in that.
Was that the one you were listening to tonight?
That was the one I was listening to tonight.
Yeah, I was listening, and this is why I thought the Doctor was in some of the ones that you had been listening to recently, because I heard David Tennant's voice tonight and was like, is that David Tennant?
It is David Tennant, but he's not playing Doctor.
Yeah, no, my assumption was, so the Doctor has shown up, because there was some conversation about, so who are you, and how have you been around this long? And I was like, it's because it's the Doctor, obviously.
I can see how you would get to that point.
Yeah, no, the dialogue going on and David Tennant's presence did lead me to that conclusion.
Hashtag not a doctor. Yeah, it's been a really interesting series, and I will be sad when I get to the end of season 4, I suspect. Because there are 4 parts of the Dalek Empire series, and then it's all over. So, I don't know. I might listen to Davros again after that, because that was a really fucking good series. So, what about you? You got anything else? Or is
Not really, I think that's it.
Well then.
Time for this.
Brown, good evening and welcome to Housecat News. Here are the headlines again. Dog. Foolish subordinate or deadly threat? We'll find out more later.
Hoover warning. Mummy seems to be tidying today, so this could mean the arrival of the whirring death machine.
Dinner time. Is it time for food? You say no, but tonight we ask the question, what if was time for food?
Theory of gravity. Tests continue on objects placed on surfaces. Is this the time they will actually fall up?
Nip. Are your kittens ready to start talking about Nip? If you don't, somebody else will.
And that is the headlines on Housecat News.
Coming up next is the weather with Invisible Bob.
Hello!
So we're launching our Etsy store, specialising in hand-carved wooden dildos, and trying to come up with new names.
I've been thinking. I've got a couple of ideas. Maybe we can, bounce a name each back and forth and see what we can come up with.
Sure. I mean, any products you can come up with, I think that'd be great.
Well, I think the good starting point is obviously Wooden Willie.
Or maybe the Timber Todger.
Ooh, maybe a Dyke Dowel.
Oh, I like that. The Lumberjacksy Butt Plug.
Ooh, I'm a big fan of the Dick Stick.
Oh, that's good. I like what you've done there. How about the double-ended dyke spike?
What about the Oak Bloke?
Oh, the Oak Bloke. I like it. Maybe like a cheaper version. We could have the discount pine pounder.
Oh, how about the Fervert?
Oh, and in that line, the Pinus.
Oh, wonderful. Maybe we could do. We could even spread out our range. Do a flogger with a nice wooden handle. We could call it the Walnut Whip.
We could do something for penis owners, perhaps the Oakmaning.
Oh goodness! This is some wonderful ideas. I think
the Boxwood Wood Box.
Oh goodness! And have we got any sort of branding ready for this range?
What about a mascot, a beaver, making a dick dam?
I am pretty certain
because beaver works on several levels.
Yes, no, I understand. I'm pretty certain if we put this on the internet, we could make a lot of money, and we shall.
We shall make all of the money. Wooden dicks for all.
Hooray!
Story time, stop story.
What's the story?
It's the story that we're going to make up together.
Oh, where are we starting?
That's a good question. That is indeed a good question. Luna has suggested a bunny named Reginald.
Oh, Reginald. I do enjoy Reginald as
wears
a
a
name.
bow tie and smokes a pipe.
Oh, yes, of course they would, wouldn't they? I'm Reginald. What was it? It was Reginald the Rabbit, did you say?
Oh, Reginald the Rabbit.
About the world of Reginald the Rabbit. Reginald the Rabbit.
I'll find some Reginald the Rabbits to tell you about. St. Crimson has suggested Carol from Accounting, and Carol from Accounting's evil twin.
Well, see, here's the thing. Is twins don't have to be of the same gender. You can have, fraternal twins. Maybe Carol from Accounting... their evil twin perhaps is Reginald the Rabbit.
And Arachnovolt has suggested deal with the devil for something completely unnecessary.
Well, presumably the evil twin, Reginald the Rabbit, is the one that one would assume has done the evil deal. Deal with the devil for something unnecessary. What would Reginald the Rabbit want? Deal with the devil for? Maybe it's for the pipe.
For some pipe cleaners?
Oh, yes. And as the devil is wont to do, he sort of screwed me over a little on that whole deal. I was looking for something to clean my pipe. He sent me those sort of twisty, twirly things that you can, turn into shapes. Entirely the wrong kind of pipe cleaner. You should be very clear what kind of deal you try and make with the devil.
What are the twisty turning things that you can turn in some kind of shape?
The things that are like metal, like wire, but they're covered in like fluffy stuff.
Yeah, that's pipe cleaners.
Are they actually meant to be used to clean, like, pipes?
Yes.
Oh, I assumed that the name was just some weird misnomer that was nothing to do with their actual purpose.
No, they're for cleaning pipes.
Considering the only thing I've ever in my life used them for is, like, as a craft supply, I thought that they were just a thing that shared a name with a function but weren't actually used for that.
I mean, very often they make them specifically for arts and crafts, so they'll be, like, glittery ones that obviously won't have any benefit in cleaning a pipe. But
well, that's what I was suggesting, is that he's asked for a pipe cleaner and he's been given like a craftsy pipe cleaner as opposed to a functional for cleaning your pipes kind of pipe cleaner.
Right.
Because, sure, you think you've got to be careful with your wording in a deal with a genie, but a deal with the devil, you've got to be really clear on your fine print.
Okay. What we need a name for the story?
I don't know. What is this story called?
Hopping with the Devil. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. This is the story of Hopping with the Devil. Once upon a time, there was a rabbit called Reginald.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm Reginald the Rabbit. How do you do?
Reginald the Rabbit liked nothing more than smoking his pipe.
Oh, goodness, I love nothing more than just a good lungful of pipe tobacco and, just that by itself, is a good night for me.
One night Reginald had prepared himself some ready rubbed, topped up his pipe, and gone to take a pull. However, he found that his pipe was blocked.
Oh no. I can't get a good pull on this thing at all. It's all gunked up. Oh goodness, I know that she has nothing to do with this, but I'm going to blame my twin sister Carol in accounting. It's all her fault. Ugh, bloody goody two-shoes twin. I'm sure she's somehow responsible for this.
And and so Reginald the Rabbit.
You're right there.
Yeah. Waltzing slightly. And so Reginald the Rabbit searched around the house for a pipe cleaner.
Oh goodness, I know I had one around here. Ruddy Carol must have given me one for Christmas one year. Grumble.
Just one.
Grumble. Thinking she knows what I need in life. Being the goody two-shoes twin. I'll grumble. Can't find it.
And in his frustration, Reginald said something very silly.
Oh, right now, I'd trade my soul for a good pipe cleaner so I can get a good drag on this pipe.
All right. I'm the devil.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going frightfully badly, sir. I appear to be unable to smoke my pipe properly.
No, it's something about someone wanting to sell a soul, is it?
Well, see, here's the thing. Right now, I would do absolutely anything just for a simple pipe cleaner.
For a simple pipe cleaner? Well, my lad, I have here this ream of paper, and this ream of paper, and this ream of paper, this one. But I mean, you can just skip to the end and just sign here.
Well, see, here's the thing. I would sit and read all of this. I would sit and read all of this in excruciating detail.
One should always read a contract.
But I've not had me pipe, and I get a bit irritable. I get a bit irritable, and I can't keep me focused properly, so why not? There we go.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you very much. I'll be taking your immortal soul now.
Where's my pipe cleaner?
Ah, here it is, the finest, sparkliest, least functional pipe cleaner I have about my person. It's red, like my tail.
I really should have been a bit more careful with my wording. Trade taxes?
No, as you'll see in clause 1A on the first page, no take-backsies.
Well, I'm going to find some way to blame this on Karen.
Well, you know, you can always trade me Carol's soul.
I'm allowed to trade other people's souls for things.
I mean, according to clause 7221N, you can give it a try.
How's about this? I will trade you a bowl of unmixed mixed nuts and the most powerful soul in all of existence for my soul back and a pipe cleaner that'll actually functionally clean my pipe.
And whose soul will you be giving me?
Oh, I tell you, it'll be the... I promise you, my word, I will sign this. I'll give you the most powerful soul in all of existence.
Yeah, and whose soul would it be?
Carol from accounting.
Accounting Carol.
Accounting Carol.
Your good twin.
Yeah, my good twin.
Yeah, right.
You sure your soul's not more valuable? You know, so when I say I'm giving you the most valuable soul, you can take your own soul? No. Not gonna do that. No. Fine, have Carol's.
Right, Carol's soul it is. Excellent. Right, so here is your pipe cleaner.
Oh, thank you. This is far more useful.
It is, but it's slightly too short and will break on you. So now I have Carol's soul, you've got your soul, and I have this bowl of unmixed mixed nuts.
You gonna give me your soul back? What? This says what?
Who separated these bloody nuts out? I mean, we didn't sign anything, didn't shake on nothing. You've got your pipe cleaner, I'm off. Bye! With that, the devil disappeared.
I really need to go talk to Carol. I may have made a bit of a boo-boo today.
The end.
Well,
I think we all learned a valuable lesson on this day.
We've learned a valuable lesson today, and that is, if you're going to make a deal with the devil for someone's soul, why make it your own?
Indeed, apparently that is an option. So thank you to St. Crimson for Carol from Accounting and Carol from Accounting's evil twin. Thank you to Luna Laviolette for a bunny named Reginald, who wears a bow tie and smokes a pipe. Thank you to Kelladry Goodall for a bowl of unmixed mixed nuts. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for all your suggestions. Keep them coming in. I keep a note of any ones we haven't used, and they may get used in a future one. You never know. So, time for this. Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Brusha Justice Warriors. Hello, Larry.
Hello, Barry. How's today treating you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. You know, I was having a nice chat with my partner. You know, about just the way just having a check-in really about our relationship.
Oh, it's proper important, that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people, you're in a long-term relationship. You've obviously had all these things that, sort of established. But that's not to say that things can't change over time.
Yeah. It's very easy to fall into reliable patterns and to think that sort of, the answer to all these sort of questions about, what is and isn't working, what is and isn't enjoyed, where things are at. And, life circumstances switch, the way people feel change, it's important to check back in on a regular basis and find out, where's your partner at? What's working for them? What's not? What can we work on as a couple?
Is there anything that we haven't done that they would like to, or things that they would perhaps like to aim for in their life? Do they want to take evening classes or something? I think it's that's quite important.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's it's easy to feel like you know your partner or partners, and it's easy to feel like I know what's going on. You know, just do the same old day in, day out, and they're not, you know, it's easy to forget to reassess and to make sure that you are still on the same page on everything.
Yeah, you know, you don't want to take that person for granted because, you know, obviously, you know, there's a great deal of love and care and respect there, and you want to make sure, obviously, that the relationship is as healthy as it can be.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, having to have those conversations, having to, you know, if things do get reassessed, if things change in the relationship, that's not a sign that anything's gone wrong necessarily.
Oh,
you know,
no,
it's just
people change over time.
Exactly, and you know, sometimes you don't even think about it until, you know, a partner might say, "Oh well, I've been thinking about this. How are you feeling about it?" And sometimes that can be the prompt to go, "Oh yeah, you should probably thinking about it. This is the situation."
And the other thing is, like, sometimes I think it's a case that people just don't necessarily aren't even consciously aware of these things.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, maybe it takes having that conversation to go, actually, you know, now you mention it, I do want to say, you know, something slightly different about that.
Or on top of that, like, sometimes it's external stuff to the relationship, perhaps.
Well,
like,
yeah.
You know, external stuff changing in life might, you know, be a catalyst for you to go, "Oh, well, these things in my life have changed and that's changed how I feel," or, "Oh, this event in my life has reminded me of this thing and it's brought this up," you know. So sometimes it takes external changes to remind you, and, you know, it's not a problem if something in life makes you think, "Oh yeah, I did quite enjoy that, and I should maybe bring that up again."
Yeah, I mean, and you know, not just in your social life, it can be within your sex life as well. You know, the importance of ongoing consent. My partner and I have, you know, in the past we filled out one of those BDSM, like what kinks you're into.
Yes, yeah.
But, you know, I think as time has gone on, perhaps we've thought about different things, and perhaps we haven't, you know, necessarily said, actually, I would like to try that sometime, even for whatever reason, I haven't thought about it. You know, it's good that we can maybe go, "Hey, should we do that again?" You know, and it's a nice exercise to do together, and also helps with the ongoing consent there as well.
Exactly, like stuff like that, you know, is a really good example of not assuming that because, you know, a list of someone's wants and needs were this way in one case doesn't mean that that's still how they are, and you should maybe, you know, keep those things up to date.
Absolutely, and maybe something that a year ago in different circumstances was, you know, maybe a soft limit. Maybe now you're like, actually, you know, I feel comfortable and safe enough with you now that I would be more open to that sort of thing.
Exactly, you know, if things might get less okay, they might get more okay. Those things sort of change over time.
Exactly, and you know, you allow for the fact that people are constantly growing and changing, and that's fine. And you know, you want to be a sensible, responsible adult, and you keep that line of communication open.
Exactly, like, you know, I know some people who are in, you know, poly scenarios, and they've had conversations recently where they've been like, "Well, you know, we've you know, not had more than 2 people around for a while. Are you still okay with this scenario?" And, you know, it's just a case of checking in on, here's where I'm at. Are you still okay with where you're at? You know, let's compare situations.
Well, especially in a situation like that, you know, where you've had like a period of time where it has just been 2 people. You know, has that changed anything in anyone's mind? Have they become sort of more settled into a mono relationship? Yeah. And it was good, you know. If people are having that conversation, I know some other people actually in a poly relationship. They've recently had a couple of breakups within that. I think there was about 5 or 6 of them in sort of various connections to a poly group. Most of them dating each other, but I believe a couple of people have recently fallen out of that because of a lack of communication. And, you know, that's obviously left everyone else needing to have more conversations around that. And it's good that the remaining partners there have very much had each other for support and been able to be sort of open and honest about their feelings surrounding that.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, you know, this isn't necessarily a polystrict, you know, discussion, but I think poly relationships are often like they're often a good place to look at this topic we're talking about, because
communication is absolutely vital in a poly relationship.
When you've got multiple people going on with multiple needs, the need to communicate becomes so much greater, and I think it's a real, like, people in poly situations usually recognise that communication is vital. But maybe people who are in mono situations as well should maybe look at that and go, maybe that same, level of communication is important no matter your relationship size.
Yeah, and I've known people that have gone from having been in poly relationships to being in, mono relationships, after finding that perhaps that didn't work for them, but they've kept that level of communication that they had in that sort of previous setup going on into their future relationships, and that they found has led to much more healthy relationships. And I think generally, as my whole real point here has been, just communicate with people, be open and honest, and talk about your feelings, and that's for everyone. That's important for everyone.
Yeah. Now, you all right if I give you that hug?
I am absolutely fine with that hug, mate.
I'm glad that these hugs are still all right.
Enthusiastically consenting to this hug. I genuinely look forward to it, mate. Well, but obviously don't ever feel like, you have to, or you're in any way compelled.
I will always feel, comfortable to communicate with you if I change my mind on that.
Oh, absolutely, mate. And likewise.
Yeah. Nice.
It's a good hug.
It's a good hug indeed.
Yeah. So, do you fancy green tea?
Why not? Good cup of green tea.
Yeah.
Laura?
Yes?
Where can we find you on the internet, darling?
Me? You can find me at Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere. Laura K. Buzz on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You can find me Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 at kotaku.co.uk. Very soon, after this goes up, I will have a review of Yoshi's Crafted World. You can find me on Dice Funk. It's the Dungeons and Dragons podcast. I'm on seasons 3, 4, 5, and I will be on season 6 when that starts. They're all self-contained stories, so you can just jump into any one of them. I think season 3 is a good one. I very much enjoyed that. I think that's my things. I've got some books, Uncomfortable Labels, and Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, which we have finished doing the art on, so whoop whoop. What about you? Where are you on the internet?
Where am I on the internet? Well, I can be found as Maniac Janiac on Twitter and YouTube. I can be found as Jane Eris Magnet on SoundCloud, where you might be listening to this now. I can also be found on stonemonkeyradio.blog, where I write reviews and stuff.com. I can be found on paypal.com/JaneMagnet, or paypal.me/JaneMagnet. If you want to send me some pennies, that's always appreciated. I can be found on Badly Designated Heroes, which is a 5th edition D&D real play podcast. I play Trees the Furbolg Druid. I've got a dog, and we fight a lot of rats, and have fun adventures. Yeah, so definitely check that out, please. And if you're already listening to it, like and share. Thanks very much. I do appreciate.
Yay!
So Laura, sing us out, my darling.
Well, until next time, be a stranger.